Action movies have been popular since the 1970s and have thrived in the 21st century thanks to advancements in technology. Despite their reputation, many modern action films prioritize character development and plot, proving that a solid story is crucial for success. Stacker has compiled a list of the 100 best action movies of all time based on IMDb and Metacritic scores. Bryan Singer's X-Men: Days of Future Past has an 83.7 Stacker score, 75 Metascore, and 7.9 IMDb rating. The 132-minute film follows Wolverine as he time travels to stop invincible robots from destroying humans and mutants. Singer consulted James Cameron, the creator of Terminator, to grasp the concept of time travel. John McTiernan's action film stars Bruce Willis as NYPD Detective John McClane and has a Stacker score of 83.7, a Metascore of 72, and an IMDb rating of 8.2. The 132-minute runtime follows McClane as he fights terrorists while trying to reconcile with his wife during Christmas. The movie's success led to sequels and boosted Willis' career. In Hungary, it's called Give Your Life Expensive. Director Jan de Mange's debut film, set during a 1971 Belfast riot, has a Stacker score of 84.2, Metascore of 83, IMDb user rating of 7.2, and a runtime of 99 minutes. The film follows a British soldier, Jack O'Connell, who gets separated from his unit and must find his way to safety amidst hostile surroundings, drawing inspiration from real-life historical events. Director Peter Yates, Stacker score, 84.2 Metascore, 81 IMDb user rating, 7.4 runtime, 114 minutes. Steve McQueen plays a hard-boiled cop named Bullet in this 1968 film of the same name. The story puts him on the trail of an underworld kingpin who murders a star witness. It features an iconic car chase sequence that took 3 weeks to shoot, with the cars actually going over 100 miles per hour. Directors Andrew Lau, Alan Mock. Stacker score, 84.2 Metascore, 75 IMDb user rating, 8.0 runtime, 101 minutes. This Hong Kong thriller follows a cop and a criminal who go undercover on opposite sides of the law. Martin Scorsese and William Monahan drew inspiration from this film for The Departed, although Scorsese claims it is not a remake. 2 sequels followed the original version. Director Stephen Chow's film has a Stacker score of 84.2, a Metascore of 78, and an IMDb user rating of 7.7. The 99-minute masterpiece blends martial arts with Chaplin-esque physical comedy, set in 1940s China during a violent war between gangsters and villagers. The film's delirious special effects make it a must-see cinematic event. Director Mamoru Oshii. Stacker score, 84.2 Metascore, 76 IMDb user rating, 7.9 runtime, 83 minutes. This cyberpunk saga, adapted from a manga series, is a benchmark in animation history. Set in 2029 Japan, it follows a cyborg cop and her partner as they track down a mysterious hacker. It has spawned a beloved TV series and a controversial live-action film starring Scarlett Johansson. Director Richard Donner. Stacker score, 84.2 Metascore, 81 IMDb user rating, 7.4 runtime, 143 minutes. Richard Donner's groundbreaking comic book adaptation stars Christopher Reeve as the Man of Steel, taking us from his birth on Krypton to his first battle against supervillain Lex Luthor, Gene Hackman. It paved the way for the superhero craze, spawning multiple sequels and reboots. Director Peter Weir. Stacker score, 84.2 Metascore, 81 IMDb user rating, 7.4 runtime, 138 minutes. Russell Crowe plays British Captain Jack Aubrey in this seafaring adventure tale. Set during the Napoleonic Wars, it pits Aubrey and his crew against a formidable French enemy. Despite a number of epic battle sequences, the film is often viewed as more of an intense character study. Director Bong Joon-ho's first English-language film, Parasite, is an adaptation of a post-apocalyptic French graphic novel. Set on a globe-spanning train, survivors have established a brutal caste system. Joon-ho's signature style of blending timely themes, intense action, and stunning visuals is evident in this gripping film. Director John Woo's action film has a Stacker score of 84.2, a Metascore of 82, and an IMDb user rating of 7.3. The 138-minute movie features John Travolta and Nicolas Cage as a cop and criminal who switch faces and careers. The screenplay was intended for Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Director, Matt Reeves. Stacker score, 84.2 Metascore, 79 IMDb user rating, 7.6 runtime, 130 minutes. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is set 10 years after Rise of the Planet of the Apes. In a post-apocalyptic world, humanity is on the verge of extinction. They must face a group of genetically evolved apes, and it's pretty obvious who comes out on top. Rush is a 123-minute film directed by Ron Howard with a Stacker score of 84.2, a Metascore of 74, and an IMDb user rating of 8.1. It's based on the true story of the 1970s Formula One race car driver rivalry between Niki Lauda and James Hunt, with Lauda praising the movie's accuracy. Chris Hemsworth portrays Hunt, a notorious playboy. Johnny 2's acclaimed film has an 84.8 Stacker score, 86 Metascore, and 7.0 IMDb rating. It revolves around a drug lord on death row who becomes an informant, causing skepticism among the police. Variety critic Boyd Van Hoege praises the gripping plot, script, and cinematography, despite the absence of action. Director Toshiya Fujita's Lady Snowblood has a Stacker score of 84.8, a Metascore of 80, and an IMDb user rating of 7.6. The 97-minute film, based on Kazuo Koike's manga series, follows Yuki Kashima, Meiko Kaji, a trained assassin seeking revenge against those who killed her family. Fans of Kill Bill will enjoy this spiritual predecessor. Director Anders Thomas Jensen, known for working with Mads Mikkelsen, delivers a Danish action drama with an 84.8 Stacker score, 81 Metascore, and 7.5 IMDb rating. Mikkelsen plays a soldier seeking revenge for his family's death in a film praised by critic Philip de Semlin for its unique blend of big ideas, gun battles, and dark humor. The movie runs for 116 minutes. J.C. Chander's gripping survival story stars Robert Redford as a man lost at sea, facing certain death. With high scores across the board, this film showcases Redford's talents. Chander explains that by minimizing dialogue, the audience can truly appreciate Redford's performance. The runtime is 106 minutes. Director Bong Joon-ho's monster movie, with a Stacker score of 84.8, Metascore of 85, IMDb user rating of 7.1, and a runtime of 120 minutes, tells the story of a sea creature spawned by 200 bottles of formaldehyde dumped into South Korea's Han River by scientists. This film, which combines parable and spectacle, impressed audiences at Cannes and set new box office records in Korea. Director, Matt Reeves, Stacker score, 84.8 Metascore, 82 IMDb user rating, 7.4 runtime, 140 minutes. First there came The Rise, followed by The Dawn, and in 2017 it was an all-out war for the Planet of the Apes. Lead ape Caesar struggles internally as he seeks revenge on the man, Woody Harrelson, who murdered his wife and child. Director, Brad Bird. Stacker score, 84.8 Metascore, 80 IMDb user rating, 7.6 runtime, 118 minutes. After a decade, The Incredibles return for a new adventure. Elastigirl battles the mind-controlling supervillain Screenslaver. It quickly became the fastest animated film to reach $200 million at the domestic box office. Director Nicholas Winding Refn's cult classic Drive has an 84.8 Stacker score, 78 Metascore, and 7.8 IMDb user rating. The 100-minute crime thriller stars Ryan Gosling as a quiet getaway driver targeted by a dangerous mobster played by Albert Brooks. Refn, interestingly, didn't have a driver's license when he made the film. Alejandro G. Iñárritu's survival film, based on Hugh Glass' alleged true story, has an 84.8 Stacker score, 76 Metascore, and 8.0 IMDb rating. The 156-minute movie follows Glass, Leonardo DiCaprio, seeking revenge and survival in 19th-century American wilderness after betrayal by his hunting team. It won 3 Academy Awards, including Best Actor for DiCaprio and Best Director for Iñárritu. Director, James Gunn. Stacker score, 84.8 Metascore, 76 IMDb user rating, 8.0 runtime, 121 minutes. In this surprise Marvel smash, a group of intergalactic misfits teams up to prevent a villain from seizing control of the universe. Vin Diesel voices Groot, a talking tree monster with just one line in the film, "I am Groot." Diesel recorded this line around 1,000 times. Director, Terrence Young, Stacker score, 85.3 Metascore, 83 IMDb user rating, 7.4 runtime, 115 minutes. Another classic James Bond film, 1963's From Russia with Love, sends Agent 007 on the hunt for an advanced coding machine. The second installment in the long-running, ongoing franchise, it features a thrilling pre-credit sequence and interesting locales, among other things. Director Kinji Fukasaku's Japanese film, with a Stacker score of 85.3 and a Metascore of 81, has an IMDb user rating of 7.6 and a runtime of 114 minutes. The dystopian story follows ninth graders forced into a deadly battle, and the film's violence caused controversy and bans in some countries. Director, Steven Spielberg. Stacker, 85.3 Metascore, 80 IMDb rating, 7.7 runtime, 145 minutes. In this sci-fi thriller, Tom Cruise plays a futuristic cop who uses precogs to stop crimes before they happen. But when the precogs predict Cruise's own involvement in a horrific act, things get dark. Director Sion Sono's film, with a Stacker score of 85.9, Metascore of 78, IMDb user rating of 8.0, and a runtime of 237 minutes, is a sprawling melodrama. It explores a bizarre love triangle between three damaged characters, showcasing Sono's subversive sensibilities. Slant critic Simon Abrams likened it to the great Russian novel. Creed, directed by Ryan Coogler, scores 85.9 on Stacker, 82 on Metascore, and 7.6 on IMDb. The 133-minute film follows Adonis Creed, son of Apollo Creed, as the new protagonist. Creed 3, directed by Michael B. Jordan, will be the first Rocky film without Sylvester Stallone. Denis Villeneuve's gripping thriller, starring Emily Blunt as FBI agent Kate Macer, has a Stacker score of 85.9, a Metascore of 82, and an IMDb rating of 7.6. Benicio del Toro co-stars as a mysterious mercenary, adding depth to the story with minimal dialogue. The film has a runtime of 121 minutes. Director Rian Johnson's sci-fi thriller, Looper, has a Stacker score of 85.9, a Metascore of 84, and an IMDb user rating of 7.4. The film, with a runtime of 119 minutes, follows Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, a hitman known as a Looper, who must confront the consequences of sparing his future self, played by Bruce Willis. Director, James Mangold. Stacker score, 85.9 Metascore, 77 IMDb user rating, 8.1 runtime, 137 minutes. Hugh Jackman's final portrayal of Wolverine takes place in a futuristic wasteland, where the mutant superhero battles against an evil corporation. The film's R rating, similar to Deadpool, adds to its appeal. Director J.J. Abrams revived the Star Wars franchise in 2015 with a highly acclaimed installment. Sticking to the tone and story of the original trilogy, Abrams ensured audience satisfaction. Mark Hamill returned as Luke Skywalker, although his role was significantly reduced by the time of the first table read. Director Jon Favreau's Iron Man has a Stacker score of 85.9, a Metascore of 79, and an IMDb user rating of 7.9. The 126-minute film launched the Marvel Comics universe and stars Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, who builds a revolutionary suit of armor. Tom Cruise and Quentin Tarantino were considered for the lead role and directing, respectively. Director, Takashi Miike. Stacker score, 86.4 Metascore, 84 IMDb user rating, 7.5 runtime, 141 minutes. Prolific director Takashi Miike breathes new life into a 1963 samurai film with this vivid remake. The story takes place in mid-19th century Japan and follows 13 assassins as they unite against an evil lord. Taut drama slowly builds to a climactic 45-minute battle sequence. Director, Robert Klaus. Stacker score, 86.4 Metascore, 83 IMDb user rating, 7.6 runtime, 102 minutes. Bruce Lee's final completed film is one of the most iconic martial arts movies ever made. Seeking revenge for his sister's death, Lee fights his way to the top of a deadly competition. The movie also features a young Jackie Chan, who plays a henchman during a climactic showdown. Director Edgar Wright's action movie parody, Hot Fuzz, has a Stacker score of 86.4, a Metascore of 81, and an IMDb user rating of 7.8. The 121-minute film follows an enthusiastic London cop, Simon Pegg, as he investigates a murder in a sleepy town. It's part of Wright's Cornetto trilogy, named after a popular ice cream cone. Director Michael Mann's crime epic, Heat, has an 86.4 Stacker score, 76 Metascore, and 8.3 IMDb user rating. The 170-minute film revolutionized the cops and robbers genre, depicting a perilous bank heist from multiple perspectives. Its impact is still felt today, influencing its subgenre. The characters are revisited in the novel, Heat 2 Inches by Mann and co-author Meg Gardiner. Director, Sam Mendes, Stacker score, 86.4 Metascore, 81 IMDb user rating, 7.8 runtime, 143 minutes. James Bond is always synonymous with pulse-pounding action sequences, but 2012's Skyfall goes extra big on spectacle. It pits the iconic super spy against a diabolical madman, Javier Bardem, with impressive foresight and a taste for chaos. Director, Anurag Kashyap. Stacker, 87 Metascore, 76 IMDb, 8.4 runtime, 143 minutes. This Indian crime drama, based on the 1993 Bombay bombings, offers multiple perspectives on the event. Banned domestically for 2 years, it's been praised as audacious and explosive by Outlook critic Namrata Joshi. Director, John Woo. Stacker, 87 Metascore, 82 IMDb, 7.8 runtime, 111 minutes. In this action classic, a jaded assassin, Chow Yun-fat, must kill his way to retirement. Director John Woo filmed using an outline, claiming the whole movie was in his head. It influenced directors like Tarantino and Rodriguez. Directors, Phil Lord, Christopher Miller. Stacker score, 87 Metascore, 83 IMDb user rating, 7.7 runtime, 100 minutes. Everything is awesome for the protagonist of this computer-animated blockbuster, until he's tasked with saving the world from the whims of Lord Business. In addition to being a box office success, the inventive movie caused sales of actual Lego sets to soar by 15%. Directed by Sam Mendes, this World War I drama cleverly conceals its camera cuts to create the illusion of a single shot. Starring Dean Charles Chapman and George McKay, the film follows 2 British soldiers on a dangerous mission. With stunning cinematography by Roger Deakins, it received 3 Academy Awards, including Best Cinematography. Director, Martin Campbell. Stacker score, 87 Metascore, 80 IMDb user rating, 8.0 runtime, 144 minutes. Martin Campbell's stylish thriller introduces James Bond's first mission as Agent 007, with Daniel Craig's debut as the iconic spy. Bond must stop a shady banker with terrorist connections from winning a high-stakes poker game. Director Neil Blomkamp's debut film, with high ratings and a runtime of 112 minutes, is an allegory of South African apartheid. It portrays a world where peaceful extraterrestrials are confined to militarized ghettos. Government agent Wikus van der Merwe, Charlton Copley, undergoes a transformative experience when he encounters alien technology during eviction duties. Directors, Lana and Lily Wachowski. Stacker score, 87 Metascore, 73 IMDb user rating, 8.7 runtime, 136 minutes. The Matrix, 1999, revolutionized the action genre with its mind-bending storyline about a man, Keanu Reeves, uncovering the truth about reality. Notably, the film's iconic lobby shootout was filmed over 10 days without CGI. Director, Travis Knight. Stacker score, 87.5 Metascore, 84 IMDb user rating, 7.7 runtime, 101 minutes. In this stop-motion animation, Kubo must find a magical coat of armor to defeat an evil spirit. Produced by Laika, known for Coraline and The Box Trolls. Director, Denis Villeneuve. Stacker score, 87.5 Metascore, 81 IMDb user rating, 8.0 runtime, 164 minutes. When a young Blade Runner, Ryan Gosling, uncovers a long-buried secret, it could have society-shifting consequences. Like its distinguished predecessor, Denis Villeneuve's sci-fi sequel underperformed at the box office and slowly developed cult status. Director, Park Chan-wook. Stacker score, 87.5 Metascore, 77 IMDb user rating, 8.4 runtime, 120 minutes. Not to be confused with the disappointing Hollywood remake, Park Chan-wook's revenge tale offers no shortage of brutal surprises. Inexplicably held captive for years, a man is set free to pursue his tormentor. This makes up part of Chan Wook's famous Vengeance trilogy. J.J. Abrams directed the 2009 space saga adaptation, earning high scores and ratings. It's a prequel featuring a young James T. Kirk as Captain, and Simon Pegg was eager to co-star as Scotty. Director Ryan Coogler. Stacker score 87.5 Metascore, 88 IMDb user rating, 7.3 runtime, 134 minutes. In Wakanda, a nation rich in vibranium and skilled warriors, the Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, fights to protect the throne from attackers. Sadly, Boseman passed away in 2020 after battling cancer. Director James Cameron's sequel, with a Stacker score of 87.5, Metascore of 75, and IMDb user rating of 8.6, runs for 137 minutes. It features genre-blending and groundbreaking special effects, and follows two cyborgs sent from the future, one to kill and the other to protect. Robert Patrick stars as the shape-shifting T-1000, a role initially intended for Billy Idol. Director James Cameron. Stacker score 87.5 Metascore, 83 IMDb user rating, 7.8 runtime, 162 minutes. Director James Cameron and his team employed new 3D technology to bring this record-breaking blockbuster to life. Travel to the distant planet of Pandora, where greedy Earthlings try to exploit the native species. Director John Carpenter's indie action thriller, with a Stacker score of 88, Metascore of 89, IMDb user rating of 7.3, and a runtime of 91 minutes, showcases a group of mismatched heroes defending a defunct police station from an invading gang. With a shoestring budget, Carpenter drew inspiration from classic westerns like Rio Bravo. James Mangold's true story film depicts the fierce Ford versus Ferrari rivalry, with an IMDb rating of 8.1 and a runtime of 152 minutes. Starring Matt Damon and Christian Bale, the movie follows designer Carroll Shelby and driver Ken Miles as they lead Ford to victory in the 1966 24 Hours of Le Mans. The film received 4 Academy Award nominations and won for Best Sound Editing and Best Film Editing. Director Edgar Wright. Stacker 88 Metascore, 86 IMDb, 7.6 runtime, 113 minutes. Edgar Wright's heist film features dynamic music in key sequences. It follows a getaway driver, Ansel Elgort, forced into an impossible job. Wright's vision for certain scenes dates back to 1995, inspired by the John Spencer blues explosion. Directors Anthony and Joe Russo. Stacker score 88. Metascore 78, IMDb rating 8.4, runtime 181 minutes. Avengers Endgame is the culmination of Phase 3 of the MCU, with the remaining superheroes taking on Thanos 5 years after Infinity War. The film broke global box office records, becoming the top-grossing movie of all time, before inflation, in 2019. Director Christopher Nolan. Stacker score 88 Metascore, 78 IMDb user rating, 8.4 runtime, 164 minutes. It's Batman vs. Supervillain Bane, Tom Hardy, in the final act of Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. Hardy drew inspiration from a famous bare-knuckle fighter named Bartley Gorman when coming up with his accent for the role. Anne Hathaway co-stars as Catwoman. Director Christopher Nolan. Stacker 88 Metascore, 74 IMDb, 8.8 runtime, 148 minutes. Nolan's thriller, starring DiCaprio, explores the world of dreams where a thief manipulates events. Originally a horror film, it grossed over $800 million worldwide. Director Alfred Hitchcock's Foreign Correspondent has a Stacker score of 88.6, Metascore of 88, IMDb user rating of 7.5, and a runtime of 120 minutes. The film follows American reporter John Jones, Joel McCrea, as he investigates a secret European treaty during World War II, leading him into dangerous territory. Keep an eye out for Hitchcock's cameo around the 13-minute mark. Director Christopher McQuarrie's action-packed film, starring Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt, has a Stacker score of 88.6, a Metascore of 86, and an IMDb user rating of 7.7. The 147-minute runtime follows Hunt and his team as they search for missing plutonium after a failed mission. Cruise trained for over a year to perform one of the film's many stunts. The next installment is set to release in 2023. Director, Alfonso Cuarón. Stacker score, 88.6 Metascore, 84 IMDb user rating, 7.9 runtime, 109 minutes. In a future where reproduction is no longer possible, former activist Theo Faron embarks on a redemptive quest when a pregnant woman emerges. Alfonso Cuarón's dystopian thriller combines socially poignant drama with impressive one-shot action sequences for a unique viewing experience. Director, Quentin Tarantino. Stacker score, 88.6 Metascore, 83 IMDb user rating, 8.0 runtime, 137 minutes. The second volume of this gritty saga picks up where the first one left off, following the bride, Uma Thurman, on her quest for revenge. Fight sequences and flashbacks build toward a dramatic showdown between the betrayed assassin and her former boss, David Carradine. Directors, Howard Hawks, Richard Rawson. Stacker score, 89.1 Metascore, 87 IMDb user rating, 7.7 runtime, 93 minutes. This 1932 Howard Hawks film, also titled Scarface, tells the story of Tony Camonte, Paul Muni, a power-hungry criminal whose rise and fall is loosely based on mobster Al Capone. Hawks met with Capone before filming to incorporate primary research into the movie. Director S.S. Rajamouli's latest Telugu language epic, with a Stacker score of 89.1, Metascore of 84, IMDb user rating of 8.0, and a runtime of 187 minutes, delivers pure spectacle on a grand scale. Set against India's fight for independence, two apparent enemies form a thrilling friendship, with over-the-top set pieces that make Michael Bay seem tame. Director Zhang Yimou's wuxia classic, with a Stacker score of 89.1, Metascore of 89, IMDb user rating of 7.5, and a runtime of 119 minutes, is set during the declining Tang dynasty. Rebel groups challenge the corrupt government, while a dangerous game of deception unfolds as two individuals from opposing political factions find themselves entangled in a romantic relationship. Directors, Daniel Kwan, Daniel Scheinert. Stacker score, 89.1. Metascore, 81. IMDb rating, 8.3. Runtime, 139 minutes. The Daniels genre-bending film follows a Chinese immigrant, Michelle Yeoh, who discovers infinite alternate realities and important life lessons during a visit to the IRS. It's a talked-about indie box office hit. Directors, Don Siegel, Clint Eastwood. Stacker score, 89.1 Metascore, 87 IMDb user rating, 7.7 runtime, 102 minutes. Clint Eastwood plays a San Francisco cop with a big gun and a short temper in this crime drama. He hunts down the Scorpio killer, who is causing havoc in the city. Originally, Frank Sinatra was supposed to star but dropped out due to an injury. Director, Yimou Zhang's wuxia blockbuster, with a Stacker score of 89.1, Metascore of 85, and IMDb user rating of 7.9, runs for 120 minutes. It follows the murder of three assassins in a Rashomon-style narrative. This expensive Chinese production made history as the first Chinese-language film to top the American box office. Director, Guy Hamilton. Stacker score, 89.1 Metascore, 87 IMDb user rating, 7.7 runtime, 110 minutes. British spy James Bond, Sean Connery, uncovers a larger smuggling operation while investigating a gold magnate. The film became the fastest-grossing picture in history upon release, earning a spot in the Guinness Book of World Records. It is also director Steven Spielberg's favorite Bond film. Director, Joseph Kosinski. Stacker, 89.1 Metascore, 78 IMDb, 8.6 runtime, 130 minutes. Joseph Kosinski's Top Gun sequel, starring Tom Cruise as Captain Pete Maverick Mitchell, lives up to the hype. With its heartfelt storytelling, impressive technical advancements, and nostalgic charm, this film is a crowd-pleasing hit. Andrew Davis's The Fugitive has impressive ratings, including an 89.7 Stacker score, 87 Metascore, and 7.8 IMDb user rating. Starring Harrison Ford as Dr. Richard Kimball, falsely accused of murder and escaping prison, and Tommy Lee Jones as the determined U.S. Marshal pursuing him, this 130-minute film is action-packed with memorable dialogue. Based on a 1960s TV show, it's a must-see. Director Paul Greengrass helmed the third Jason Bourne film, with a Stacker score of 89.7, Metascore of 85, and IMDb user rating of 8.0. The 115-minute movie sees Bourne battling corrupt government forces. Greengrass faced a challenge when he couldn't shut down Waterloo Station for a crucial scene, so he set up a fake camera crew to distract onlookers while filming the actual scene elsewhere. Ridley Scott's dystopian film, with high ratings and a cult following, follows a Blade Runner on a mission to hunt down replicants. The movie explores the complexities of the human condition and features emotive synth music and striking visuals. Director, James Cameron, Stacker score, 89.7 Metascore, 84 IMDb user rating, 8.1 runtime, 107 minutes. This sci-fi horror classic wasn't James Cameron's first film, but he'll sometimes say it was. Inspired by one of the director's own nightmares, it stars Arnold Schwarzenegger as a robot sent back in time to kill an important woman, Linda Hamilton. Multiple sequels would follow. Director Brad Bird's The Iron Giant has a Stacker score of 90.2, a Metascore of 85, and an IMDb user rating of 8.1. The 86-minute animated film, based on a book by Ted Hughes, tells the story of a boy and his giant robot friend as they evade a paranoid government agent. Despite being overlooked upon its 1999 release, the film has since gained a wider audience. Clint Eastwood's World War II drama, Letters from Iwo Jima, has a Stacker score of 91.3, a Metascore of 89, and an IMDb rating of 7.9. The 141-minute film is a highly praised companion to Flags of Our Fathers, showing the Battle of Iwo Jima from the Japanese viewpoint. It received 4 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture. Director, James Cameron. Stacker score, 91.3 Metascore, 84 IMDb user rating, 8.4 runtime, 137 minutes. 1986's Aliens is an action-packed sequel to the terrifying 1979 film Alien. Sigourney Weaver's character, Ripley, is recruited to battle multiple acid-spewing alien creatures on a deserted space colony. To portray soldiers, some actors trained with real-life Marines. Spielberg's Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark scores 91.8 on Stacker, 85 on Metascore, and 8.4 on IMDb. The 115-minute adventure film stars Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, who fights Nazis to find the Ark of the Covenant. The film's opening scene fulfills Spielberg's childhood dream of the Paramount Mountain logo dissolving into a real mountain. Director, Irvin Kershner's Star Wars installment, with a Stacker score of 91.8, Metascore of 82, IMDb user rating of 8.7, and a runtime of 124 minutes, is still considered the franchise's apex. It features the first appearance of the Emperor, portrayed by a woman with chimpanzee-like eyes in the original version, and a ghastly male character with pale skin and blue eyes in the modified version. Director, Brad Bird, Stacker score, 92.4 Metascore, 90 IMDb user rating, 8.0 runtime, 115 minutes. This iconic Pixar outing subjects 2 retired superheroes and their children to a boring life in the burbs. Called into action, the family squares off against a deeply disgruntled villain. Animator Lou Romano drew upon 1960s aesthetics when establishing the film's unique color palette. Director, Masaki Kobayashi's historical Japanese drama has a Stacker score of 92.9, a Metascore of 85, and an IMDb user rating of 8.6. The 133-minute film depicts the story of a young samurai who is compelled to commit harakiri during a time of peace, leading to a tale of revenge. Director, Anurag Kashyap's crime epic, divided into 2 parts, has a Stacker score of 92.9, a Metascore of 89, and an IMDb user rating of 8.2. With a runtime of 321 minutes, it portrays a blood-soaked rivalry between gangs spanning 3 generations and numerous characters. Critic Danny Bose hails it as one of the most ambitious and best gangster films ever made. Director William Friedkin's The French Connection has a Stacker score of 92.9, a Metascore of 94, and an IMDb user rating of 7.7. The 104-minute film is based on a true drug bust and features Gene Hackman as a determined cop who takes down heroin dealers. The movie includes an iconic car chase scene and won 5 Oscars, including Best Picture. Directors, Bob Persichetti, Peter Ramsey, Rodney Rothman. Stacker score, 92.9 Metascore, 87 IMDb user rating, 8.4 runtime, 117 minutes. Anyone can wear the mask in this dimension-spanning adventure, which features groundbreaking animation. What opens with the saga of Miles Morales becomes the story of multiple web-slingers who exist in separate realms of reality. Director, George Miller Stacker, 92.9 Metascore, 90 IMDb, 8.1 runtime, 120 minutes. Mad Max, Tom Hardy, and Furiosa, Charlize Theron, unite to flee an evil ruler. Filmed in Africa's Namib Desert, also called The Land That God Made in Anger. This fourth installment had a $150 million budget, much higher than the original's $200,000. Director Christopher Nolan's World War II drama, with a Stacker score of 93.5 and a Metascore of 94, follows Allied soldiers as they evacuate a beach in a 106-minute runtime. The film prioritizes action over character development, with war veterans noting that the explosions were louder than reality. Director, Ang Lee, Stacker score, 94 Metascore, 94 IMDb user rating, 7.9 runtime, 120 minutes. Ang Lee's update on the wuxia genre sends two seasoned warriors in the pursuit of a stolen sword. In addition to its iconic action sequences, the film delivers sweeping drama and a romantic subplot. A box office smash, it won 4 Academy Awards out of 10 nominations. Director Alfonso Cuarón's space survival film, with a Stacker score of 94, Metascore of 96, and IMDb user rating of 7.7, has a runtime of 91 minutes. The visually stunning movie follows two astronauts, played by Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, as they face the immediate aftermath of their shuttle's destruction in real time. Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight is a highly acclaimed film with a Stacker score of 94.6, a Metascore of 84, and an IMDb user rating of 9.0. It's considered one of the greatest movies of the modern era, thanks in part to Heath Ledger's standout performance as the Joker. Ledger kept a Joker diary for inspiration and won a posthumous Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. Director Akira Kurosawa's samurai drama, with a Stacker score of 95.1, Metascore of 93, IMDb rating of 8.2, and a 110-minute runtime, is set in 1860 during a small-town gang war. Inspired by Hollywood westerns, Kurosawa's film influenced them in return. It was later rehashed in A Fistful of Dollars, 1964, and officially remade as Last Man Standing, 1996, starring Bruce Willis. Director Peter Jackson's sequel, with a Stacker score of 95.1 and Metascore of 87, follows hobbits Frodo, Elijah Wood, and Sam, Sean Astin, on their quest to destroy a powerful ring. The film introduces the CGI character Gollum, Andy Serkis, and features a 40-minute battle sequence that took 120 days to film. Runtime, 179 minutes. IMDb user rating, 8.8. Directors, Michael Curtiz, William Keithley. Stacker score, 95.7 Metascore, 97 IMDb user rating, 7.9 runtime, 102 minutes. Starring Errol Flynn, this timeless adventure follows the heroic thief who robs the rich to aid the poor. It was Warner Brothers' most expensive film at the time and proved to be a double success, both at the box office and upon its re-release with Technicolor prints. Director, Sam Peckinpah. Stacker score, 95.7 Metascore, 97 IMDb user rating, 7.9 runtime, 135 minutes. From controversial director Sam Peckinpah comes this gritty western about a group of aging outlaws in pursuit of one final score. Striving for authenticity, Peckinpah insisted that every gunshot in the film feature a distinct and authentic sound. Director George Lucas's Star Wars, 95.7 Stacker score, 90 Metascore, 8.6 IMDb user rating, debuted in 1977, introducing young Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, and his battle against Darth Vader and the Empire. The film's title potentially revealed a major plot twist, as Darth Vader translates to Dark Father. The runtime is 121 minutes. Director Akira Kurosawa's King Lear adaptation, set in medieval Japan, boasts a Stacker score of 96.7, a Metascore of 96, and an IMDb user rating of 8.2. Despite being 162 minutes long, the film showcases Kurosawa's impressive scope and execution, especially considering he was 75 years old when he made it. Director, Peter Jackson. Stacker, 97.8 Metascore, 92 IMDb, 8.8 runtime, 178 minutes. Peter Jackson's Middle-earth adaptation of J.R.R. Tolkien's classic follows a hobbit's journey to destroy a powerful ring. The film sparks deep discussions among cinephiles, theologians, and academics, exploring themes beyond its magical surface. Director, Akira Kurosawa, Stacker score, 100 Metascore, 98 IMDb user rating, 8.6 runtime, 207 minutes. Under threat by ruthless bandits, a small village hires 7 samurai for protection. That paves the way for an action-packed showdown during which the samurai square off against 40 attackers. Masterful in its structure, Kurosawa's adventure story has inspired countless imitations. Director Peter Jackson's epic finale to the beloved trilogy scores a perfect 100 on Stacker and a 94 on Metascore. With a runtime of 201 minutes, the film depicts the ultimate battle between good and evil and won 11 Oscars out of 11 nominations. Don't miss the 2004 extended version for recut scenes and 50 minutes of additional footage.